Greetings, radiant Leo, the lion whose roar echoes through the stars. You didn't land on this video by coincidence. What if I told you the universe has aligned precisely to bring you here, at this very moment, for a reason far greater than your conscious mind can yet comprehend? Over the next few minutes, we're diving into a powerful download of cosmic insight. 6 sacred numbers are revealing themselves to you between April 24th and April 26, 2025, and they hold the frequencies of financial breakthrough, career alignment, and vital energy restoration. This isn't just a lucky number reading. This is a spiritual decoding of your path forward. Whether you're here from curiosity, synchronicity, or something deep within you that whispered "click now," I want you to know, this video found you for a reason. Welcome to Eternal Mindfulness, a soul-centered space for seekers, healers, and visionaries like you. And Leo, you weren't born to hide in the shadows. You were born to lead from the heart, with fire in your spirit and gold in your soul. Right now, there's a massive energetic portal forming around your zodiac sign. These 6 numbers we'll explore in a moment aren't random. They are coded invitations from the universe, awakening your potential, summoning your inner flame, and guiding you toward a level of purpose and fulfillment that your soul has long prepared for. Let me ask you something. Have you been sensing that something big is on the horizon, but you haven't been able to name it yet? Have your dreams become more vivid? Have your emotions surged or shifted unexpectedly? Has your body asked you to slow down, or speed up, in unfamiliar ways? That's not stress. That's not confusion. That's activation. A sacred inner clock is ticking. And you, Leo, are at the center of this unfolding. But before we go deeper, allow me a moment to speak from my heart to yours. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. For every like, every comment, every time you've chosen to hit subscribe, even silently, you've helped build something rare and meaningful here at Eternal Mindfulness. You've helped co-create a space where astrology isn't entertainment, it's empowerment. Where messages don't just inform, they awaken. So from the bottom of my heart, I want you to know, you are seen. And your energy here is what makes this work possible. And Leo, you will want to stay until the very end of today's message. Because what the universe is preparing to reveal to you could very well shift not only your current path, but the entire why behind your journey. So now I ask you, what number has been showing up in your life lately? A number that repeats, that lingers, that nudges at your awareness. That may be more than coincidence. It may be your invitation. If you're ready to receive, not just passively, but intuitively, consciously, powerfully, then let's step forward together. Because Leo, your light isn't just returning. It's about to lead. It often begins not with a dramatic shift, but with a quiet whisper, an idea, a color, a moment of joy that flickers through your awareness and then lingers just long enough to be felt. That's the essence of the number 3. It doesn't demand attention like a roaring fire, it invites like a candle gently illuminating the edge of a path you haven't yet walked. For Leo, a sign already bathed in solar light, number 3 brings something softer, yet no less powerful, the permission to create from the heart, not from expectation. There's something sacred about expression that arises not to impress, but simply to reveal the truth of who you are. The number 3, in this moment of cosmic alignment, asks you to return to that kind of expression, one that doesn't seek applause but flows naturally, like breath. You don't have to brand yourself. You already are the brand, your voice, your vision, your energy. That is the currency the universe responds to. Professionally, you may feel the stirrings of restlessness, not the kind that stems from dissatisfaction, but the kind that signals a soul ready to innovate. A part of you may be craving something more authentic, more alive. Perhaps you've had ideas that felt too risky, too strange, or too far from what others expect of you. But now, that friction is not a warning, it's a calling. The bolder the idea, the more it deserves to see daylight. And someone, maybe many someones, are already watching, silently hoping you'll take that leap. Not because they need another leader, but because they need someone to remind them that it's okay to go first. When it comes to the body, your vitality isn't found in forcing discipline or chasing perfection. It's in play. In laughter. In movement that isn't measured by fitness apps but by how wide your spirit expands when you move. This is a time to dance, to paint, to write poetry with your body and your breath, not for an audience, but for your own remembrance. That you are not a machine. You are a pulse of creativity itself. What often goes unspoken is the way the inner world and outer results are connected. Just like breath influences the heartbeat, your ability to feel joy directly impacts your magnetism in the material world. Opportunities don't just arrive at your doorstep. They are drawn to you through the resonance of your being. That's the gentle truth behind what we often call the law of attraction. You're not chasing success, you're becoming the version of yourself that success can't help but find. There's an ancient understanding that when one expresses themselves without grasping or ego, without needing to be seen, they become visible to what truly matters. To the right timing. To the right people. To the right conditions. This is not about abandoning structure, but allowing spontaneity to have a seat at your table of ambition. Structure gives your vision a home. Creativity gives it a soul. If a number has been dancing in your mind lately, circling like a melody you can't forget, consider this a gentle nudge. It's time to act on the impulse. Not because it's urgent, but because it's true. So speak your idea aloud. Sketch the thing you've been dreaming about. Sing the note you've been humming under your breath. Not to escape life, but to return to it. Because when your heart is open and your joy is authentic, the universe doesn't need to be convinced. It's already listening. Some moments don't arrive with fireworks, they arrive with stillness. A kind of stillness that doesn't silence you, but instead, clears the fog around your inner voice so it can finally be heard. That's the essence of the number 11. It doesn't come to make noise or demand your attention. It comes like a mirror, gently reflecting a version of yourself you may have forgotten, the one who already knows. As you continue through this energetic gateway from April 24th to 26th, you may find yourself less drawn to answers and more pulled by questions. Not surface-level ones, but the kind that rise unexpectedly during quiet moments, during long walks, in the space between tasks. This is how number 11 speaks, not in commands, but in invitations. It is the number of alignment, awareness, and inner guidance. And Leo, for someone whose nature shines outward with brilliance, this is a call to turn inward, not as a retreat, but as a reclaiming. Your natural power lies in how you light up a room, but number 11 reminds you that clarity doesn't always come through spotlight. It often arrives in shadow. There is a deeper form of seeing that awakens when you allow yourself to pause and just observe. The noise of the world is rarely interested in nuance. But the truth of your life, your next step, your calling, that lives in nuance. In texture. In feeling. Within your career, there may soon come a moment when a hidden truth surfaces. Maybe a dynamic you've ignored, a shift in leadership, or a decision that reveals more than it says. Don't fear it. Don't rush to fix or fight. Instead, stay grounded in the truth of who you are. The number 11 doesn't offer drama, it offers discernment. You may be presented with a chance to rise, but only if you choose to see beyond the noise. Not everything that disrupts you is meant to destroy you. Some disruptions are sacred. In your physical and emotional health, you might feel energetically full, but not in a good way. You could be absorbing the emotions of others, unintentionally carrying weight that doesn't belong to you. It's easy to mistake empathy for obligation. That's why setting clear boundaries right now is an act of compassion, not only for others, but for yourself. Picture yourself surrounded by light, not to escape, but to purify. Not to block, but to return to what is truly yours. There is wisdom in silence. In some teachings, silence is seen as the gate to the highest understanding, not because it contains the answer, but because it removes everything that isn't the answer. Taking a day to remain silent, to simply witness life unfold without interference, can offer you more direction than hours of striving. Your dreams, your gut feelings, the sudden insights you brush off, they are all parts of a deeper language that your higher self speaks fluently. This is where we see the power of number 11. It does not shout, it whispers. And those whispers, when trusted, lead you to the kind of alignment no strategy or plan can replicate. So take note of the synchronicities. Be mindful of what your body tells you when your mind is busy rationalizing. Trust what comes up in stillness, not because it's loud, but because it endures. And maybe, just maybe, that quiet pull you've been feeling lately? It isn't doubt. It's direction. Sometimes the most powerful transformation doesn't come from pushing harder, but from softening into rhythm. That's what the number 14 brings into focus now, not a call to stop, but an invitation to move differently. After the quiet revelations of the number 11, you may find yourself ready to act, to create momentum. But 14 reminds us, momentum without mindfulness leads to burnout, not breakthroughs. What you need now is not acceleration, but alignment with flow. For Leo, a sign that thrives on passion, clarity, and forward motion, this can feel unfamiliar. You're wired for impact. You love knowing where you're going. But number 14, a fusion of the grounded energy of 1 and the adaptable curiosity of 4, asks you to become both the river and the hands shaping its path. It's not about choosing between structure and spontaneity, but learning how to lead with both. This is the dance between form and freedom, strategy and surrender. Professionally, you may be standing at a crossroads, or even feeling torn between two equally compelling directions. One path might promise stability, the other, excitement. But the wisdom of this number is that clarity rarely comes from picking a side. It comes from stepping back and observing how both options make your entire being respond, not just your mind, but your breath, your energy, your sense of peace. If you feel like you're being pulled in different directions, it's likely not a sign to force a decision, but to deepen your presence in the space between them. In many contemplative traditions, there's a deep respect for this middle space, the moment between inhale and exhale, the pause between thought and speech. It's here, in this pause, that we often meet ourselves most honestly. That's what 14 encourages, a conscious slowing, not to delay, but to choose with integrity. The goal isn't control, it's coherence, between who you are and what you choose to pursue. On the physical level, your body may already be signaling that something is out of sync. Subtle discomforts, digestion feeling off, sleep more restless, your nervous system more reactive, are not failures to be fixed, but signals to be heard. We often overlook how our environmental diet affects us, not just food, but conversations, content, and digital overload. Consider this a moment to gently cleanse what you consume, and to curate input that truly nourishes you, especially in times of uncertainty. This is also an excellent time to explore forms of movement that don't measure progress in calories or speed, but in how centered you feel afterward. Practices like Tai Chi, gentle vinyasa, or even slow walking meditation allow you to reconnect your breath with your body's intelligence. These are not workouts, they are ways of remembering. Because when your body feels safe, your choices become clearer. There's a quiet teaching embedded in number 14. You can't force balance, but you can create the conditions where it naturally arises. Much like tuning an instrument, sometimes you don't need to play louder, you just need to adjust the tension in the strings. That's what this period is asking of you, to attune. To listen. To adjust, just slightly, until your life plays a note that feels unmistakably true. And once you feel that resonance, you'll notice something magical begin to happen. Life starts moving with you, not against you. Synchronicities emerge, timing aligns, and what once felt like struggle becomes a current you're finally riding with ease. Because when you live in rhythm with your own truth, the universe doesn't just support you, it echoes you. It's often in the quiet closure of something familiar that the real beginning stirs. You might not even realize it's happening at first. Perhaps it's a subtle disinterest in the things that once lit you up, or a gentle tug inside telling you a certain chapter has run its course. That's the energy of the number 21. Not an end in the dramatic sense, but a soft completion. A cycle wrapping up, not with finality, but with clarity. Something within you is evolving, and as it does, the world around you must make room for the version of you that's ready to emerge. After moving through the flowing balance of number 14, number 21 arrives like an exhale after a long, conscious breath. It's the number of full integration, of experiences, lessons, missteps, and victories, all coming together to form the whole. It's where the pieces begin to make sense, where what seemed random now appears connected. In the natural order of things, endings are never standalone events. They are invitations into a more refined expression of life. And you, Leo, are being guided not to resist this ending, but to honor it, because in truth, it's already done. Career-wise, this may look like a shift you didn't expect, a project wrapping up, a role losing its alignment, or a goal suddenly feeling too small. And while the mind may initially respond with frustration or fear, the deeper message is this: if the door is closing, it's because what's behind it no longer matches your frequency. Trying to stay in outdated spaces will only dilute your momentum. What you once outgrew is no longer your responsibility to fix, it's your signal to step forward. In terms of your health and vitality, there might be a noticeable dip in energy. Not because you're broken, but because your inner system is reconfiguring. Just as a tree sheds its leaves before blooming again, your body may be asking for rest, not as a pause, but as preparation. There's a shift happening at the cellular level, and it needs space. Listening closely to your body's request for stillness is a form of wisdom few are taught, but all must eventually learn. Not everything that slows you down is a setback, sometimes it's a sacred reset. There's also a quiet teaching within the number 21 about non-attachment. It's the realization that clinging too tightly to what was, whether a role, a relationship, or an identity, only prolongs suffering. Much like the teaching that the more we grasp, the more we suffer, 21 shows us that true liberation often comes in the act of letting go. When you stop forcing things to stay, you make room for what's naturally aligned to arrive. A simple practice during this cycle is reflection. Not the kind that loops in regret, but the kind that lovingly observes growth. Try writing down 21 things you've learned in the past 3 months, no matter how small. You'll be amazed at how much wisdom you've gathered without even noticing. As you do, you'll begin to see the pattern, the transformation, the strength. You'll realize this isn't just the end of a chapter, it's the beginning of a novel with a deeper voice. Symbolically, 21 is also linked to the World card in Tarot, a card of fulfillment, arrival, and wholeness. But the real gift of the World isn't just completion, it's perspective. You now carry the wisdom to see your life not in fragments, but as a continuous unfolding, a spiral rather than a line. And in that spiral, you're never truly starting over. You're returning, with more awareness, more grace, and a greater readiness to walk forward, not in search of who you should be, but in full acceptance of who you already are becoming. What begins as a nudge to build something more stable often reveals itself as a deeper invitation, not just to create success, but to create support that lasts. After the expansive shift of number 21, which taught us the grace of closure and the power of perspective, the presence of numbers 26 and 44 signals that the time for foundation laying is now. This is where the energetic work becomes practical. It's where vision meets structure, and where ambition is no longer about personal achievement, but about collective elevation. Number 26 reminds us that prosperity rarely arrives in isolation. It flows best through connection, meaningful, intentional, mutually beneficial connection. If you've been carrying the belief that doing it all alone is a mark of strength, this cycle gently challenges that idea. True strength isn't about independence at all costs, it's about interdependence built on shared values. In the realm of career, this could mean forming new partnerships, reaching out for collaboration, or even re-evaluating who you're building with and why. If the foundation isn't sturdy, the structure won't hold. But when the right people come together with shared clarity, what you create can outlast trends, noise, and even doubt. Financially, this is a powerful time to shift your mindset from short-term gains to long-term growth. The energy of 26 is about sustainability, not just making money, but making it mean something. That might mean investing in education, upskilling, or reinvesting into your own systems so they support your expansion over time. It's not glamorous work, but it's transformational. And when paired with the stabilizing presence of number 44, what you build now can become the kind of legacy that doesn't just support you, it supports others. Number 44, a master number, amplifies everything it touches. It brings the energy of practical wisdom, disciplined building, and inner stability. It speaks to structure, not the rigid kind, but the kind that creates space for freedom. Much like the way a tree grows best when its roots are deep and secure, your life, your health, your work, your dreams, needs anchoring. This isn't about control. It's about creating the kind of order that holds space for the chaos of creativity without being overwhelmed by it. On a physical level, you might be feeling the need to strengthen your body's core, not just in appearance, but in actual function. Your spine, your joints, your ability to carry yourself both literally and energetically, these are areas worth tuning into now. How you stand in your body is often how you stand in your life. Are you collapsing inward, bracing against something unseen, or standing tall and open to receive? Movement that restores integrity, gentle strength training, mindful posture practices, grounding stretches, can be incredibly powerful right now, especially if you've been ignoring your own need for support. There's also an unseen layer to this energy. It's the wisdom of knowing that while solitude has its place, we are not meant to sustain ourselves alone. Even in the quietest spiritual traditions, the image of community, sangha, shared space, respectful coexistence, is honored as essential. Not because others complete us, but because their presence reflects us. The right collaborations won't diminish your light, Leo. They will amplify it, not in volume, but in reach. Let this be the moment you stop wearing the weight of everything alone. Invite someone into the process. Rebuild your systems with durability in mind. And remember, the strongest structures are not the tallest, they are the ones that can bend, flex, and still hold steady when the winds of change come through. You are not here to hustle your way to the top. You are here to build something so real, it can hold you, and everyone you're meant to serve. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want to remind you of just how far you've traveled in such a short time. You didn't just listen to a reading, you opened a doorway. A doorway into deeper clarity, deeper honesty, and deeper presence with yourself. From the spark of creative energy in number 3 to the quiet guidance of 11, the steady flow of 14, the closure and renewal in 21, and the grounded expansion of 26 and 44, you've been walking through a full cycle of energetic transformation. And you didn't rush through it. You met it with your whole self. This isn't about becoming more, Leo. This is about becoming more you. You've been told for so long that your light must always roar to be worthy, but maybe this is the moment to understand that the greatest power often comes not from noise, but from presence. From showing up, again and again, with your full heart, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. So I invite you to pause, right here. Ask yourself, which number stayed with you the most? Which one felt like it was speaking directly to your current season of life? And more importantly, are you willing to act on what it revealed? Not in a way that's pressured or perfect, but in a way that's real, even if it's small. Because small steps taken from the center of your truth have the power to change everything. What would happen if, just for today, you let go of the idea that you have to do it all alone? What if you reached out, asked for support, or said yes to a collaboration you've been hesitating on? What would shift in your life if you honored rest not as weakness, but as wisdom? Or if you created something, anything, not for validation, but just to feel alive again. Your answers to those questions don't have to be loud. They don't have to be posted or shared. They only have to be yours. But if something in this reading stirred something inside you, even just a flicker, I want to ask you to take that feeling and carry it forward. Don't let the insight fade into the scroll. Use it. Let it guide your next choice, your next boundary, your next expression. And if you feel moved, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, share the number that stood out most to you. Or write, "I choose presence over avoidance," as a way to root this moment into reality. That one sentence can become your anchor as the energies continue to shift in the days ahead. If this message spoke to something in you, if it helped you feel more seen, more steady, or simply more connected, go ahead and like this video. It tells the universe, and the algorithm, that this kind of message matters. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, where we walk this path together, not just as viewers, but as a soul family. Leo, you don't need to roar to lead. You just need to be here, fully, fiercely, and fearlessly yourself. That's the light the world is waiting for. And it's already within you. So, which number found you today?